What's going on, friends? You're watching B-Boy 45, the hospital's TV and radio station. We've had a fun day today on this wonderful Thursday, but it's about to get funner. That's right, funner. Maya, if you're there, is funner a word?
No.
What? Come on now. Come on. I think it is, but...
Yeah, I think it should be.
It should be, but it is going to get funner. Why will it get funner?
Because Calum Worthy is calling in.
We've got Calum Worthy with us. Calum, welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you for joining us today. Maya, take it away.
So first of all, I just want to say again, thank you so much for calling in. I've been beyond excited to talk with you.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to join because I am so excited to talk to you. I briefly mentioned right before, but I'm a big fan. I love your show. I've seen a number of your interviews. I mentioned that I've seen the interview that you did with Judy Greer, who I'm on a TV show with. And I'm a big fan of Topher Grace. I watched his interview and I watched a couple others, and I'm just so impressed with your show. I love the show. I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for a great project.
So my first question for you is, when was the moment you first knew you wanted to be an actor?
The first moment I knew I wanted to be an actor was when I watched the movie Home Alone 2, and I saw Macaulay Culkin making my entire family laugh. And that was a big moment for me. That's when things kind of shifted. I was very young. I was about 4. And then I started doing more theater, and I did some background work, and being on set and being on stage just felt so natural and so much fun. It felt like it's where I was meant to be.
Oh, cool. So you played Des in the Disney Channel show Austin and Ally, and I grew up watching that show and I loved it. What is your favorite memory from the show?
Oh, I have so many memories from that show. I'll never forget when I first met the cast. When I first met Ross and Laura and Rainey, that was an amazing moment because we were just doing a pilot, which means you do one episode. So you film one episode and they test it to see if they want to pick it up to series. And so you spend 2 weeks, 1 week rehearsing and prepping, and then 1 week filming. And in those 2 weeks, we really bonded, and it felt like we were already becoming really good friends. And I remember thinking, and also Kevin and Heath, who created the show, I immediately clicked with them as well. And I thought, if we can keep this going, I think we could create something really special. And I just remember those first times when I sat down with them in the auditions, and none of us knew if we were going to get the role or not. I remember sitting down at the table reading me and Laura for the first time. And I just thought, I really think this is a powerful team. And I'll never forget those first moments that we all met.
Oh, that's so cool. So you were also in the show American Vandal.
Yeah.
And that show was so funny. What draws you to comedy, and who are your comedic influences?
Ooh, that is a great question. What draws me to comedy is I find that laughter, it can be kind of cliche, but laughter can really make the world a better place. Yeah. And so when I go out to try to make a project or be a part of a project, when it's a comedy, that's a huge plus. I've done some drama as well, but I really do love making comedies because I find that I hear a lot of families coming up to me saying they watch it together, or people watching comedies because they're going through a hard time and it makes them feel better. That's what I do. Whenever I'm having a hard time, struggling in life with something, I watch comedies, and it makes me feel like I'm not so alone. So that's what draws me to comedies. My favorite comedians, that's a great question. I love Mike Myers. I love Tina Fey. I love Amy Poehler. I love Bill Hader. Yeah. Maya Rudolph. I guess that whole SNL group from that period. Well, Fred Armisen, who you interviewed, I'm a huge fan of him. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. I've also actually just from the people you mentioned, I actually interviewed Maya Rudolph a few
Okay.
years ago. And
Oh.
yeah.
I'm going to watch that interview as soon as we finish doing our interview.
Thank you. Yeah, and I agree. She's so funny. I mean, everyone you mentioned is just hilarious. And
They're hilarious. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So you currently star as Zach on the show Reboot.
Yes.
And I absolutely love that show. It's hilarious.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, with the American Vandal, my family and I watched that together, and now, we watched Reboot together, and it's just so funny, and it's such an amazing ensemble cast. And so I was wondering, do you have a pre-taping ritual to get into character?
You were the first person to ever ask me that. And I actually do. So when I like playing Zach, I like to kind of, this is going to sound kind of ridiculous. I haven't told anybody this before, but when I'm in my trailer getting ready to perform as Zach, I like to start walking around as him. Cause he kind of has this, he kind of like bounces around. Like he doesn't just like walk. He kind of has this like bounce to a step, and he kind of reminds me of like a puppy. Like he's always excited. And so I do this thing where I look in the mirror and just go, awesome. Like I keep doing my hands, because that's kind of what Zach would be doing. I thought that's probably what Zach's ritual is before he goes out. So I decided to make that my ritual before I go out.
Oh, I love that.
And also trying to stay really positive, because Zach's a very positive person. Like he's very childlike. But I think with that, it's this optimism that he has. Like he seems very hopeful, and he really believes in people. And he has this kind of amazing wonder of the world. And so I try to listen to positive music as well when I'm driving in onto set, because I want to make sure I bring that positivity and that joyfulness.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So what has been your favorite episode to film?
Ooh, my favorite episode. I have so many favorite episodes. I loved the episode where Keegan and I were playing basketball. That was so fun.
Yeah.
We spent the whole day. That was a day where we weren't on our normal shooting location. We were on a separate location, and we were in an actual high school. And so it was really fun, because we got to just play basketball all day and tell jokes, which is kind of a dream day for me. I also loved the Zach and Elaine storyline, where they start finding a connection. I thought that was really sweet to see both of them in an environment that they're not used to. I also love the Johnny relationship. I love the where he's dealing with Johnny and his mom. And I also love the Rachel episode where we try to get the dog back. So it's really hard. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's hard for me to pick one, because I really enjoy all of them.
Cool. Yeah. I when I was like writing that question, I was like, I can't pick a favorite episode. So I
am right there with you. And it means so much that you like the show. That's very cool to hear.
So you have guest starred and starred in so many different projects, and including you guest starred in another one of my favorite shows, Psych.
Yeah, that's a great show. I love that show.
Yeah. So of all the roles that you've played, is there one you've related to the most?
Ooh, that's a great question. One of the roles that I can relate to the most is probably playing Zach on Reboot, because there's been so many similarities to my real life. We're very different. But the fact that he grew up on sets. I grew up on sets. The fact that he is trying to figure out who he is outside of the industry and try to grow up in the industry is something I can relate to. But one of the when you first asked that question, the thing that actually came to mind was this episode of Good Luck Charlie that I did, where I played a LARPing guy, like a live action role playing character. And that was such a fun thing to film because that was the first time I'd worked with Disney. And I remember doing that. It was before Austin and Ally. And I remember doing that episode, and it was the first time I'd ever worked on a multicam sitcom like that. And I'd never done comedy that was like that tone. And they let me just be really broad and really just go for it and commit. And it was really fun. And I remember thinking, this set seems so loving. It has so much positivity around it. I really want to stay on the show. Unfortunately, the character could only last one episode. But right after that, I got the audition for Austin and Ally. And I remember thinking, I want to bring some of that energy to this because I kind of want to replicate that. I don't know if I can relate to it the most in terms of the character, but in terms of a good memory, I think that one is number one for me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I loved Good Luck Charlie. And I just,
it was a great show.
I've basically loved everything you've done. So,
that's so sweet. That's very kind.
So, is there one character you've played that has been the most challenging?
Ooh, the character that's the most challenging. The character that's the most challenging. That's a great question. I think the character that was the most challenging, but the most fun to play was probably Des on Austin and Ally, because it was each week you had a new challenge because he always did new things. So I remember an episode where we had to spin a basketball on our finger, or one where I had to swing across the set. There was always a lot of things I had to learn how to do to play the character, like, because he was always really physical and had a lot of physical comedy. So I worked closely with the stunt team that we had, who were amazing on the show. And so that was really fun because I got to, I played tug of war with a kangaroo, and we actually had a tug of war. Like, we did so many crazy things. It was really challenging, but not challenging in a bad way, challenging in a really fun way, where every day I was on set, it felt like it was a new adventure. And on Saturdays or Sundays, we would be emailed the new script. And I remember going through it, and it was like every Sunday I'd be like, I guess I got to learn how to, jump on one foot or something, or I need to learn how to do some new crazy skill that I've never done before. And it was always just so fun and crazy and exhilarating. So I would say Des is probably the hardest, the most challenging character.
Wow. Yeah. So if you had to wake up to one song every day for the next month, what song would it be?
For the next month? Well, it's December right now. I think I would have to say All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's a great song. It's a fun song. I love Mariah Carey. She's the best.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
What song would you want to listen to if you had to listen to one song for a month?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I've had I'm forgetting all the music I've listened to, but I've had Taylor Swift's new album on repeat, so probably
it's
one
so
of
great.
her songs.
It's such a good album.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
I love her song Anti-Hero.
Yes, I was about to say, what's your favorite song? Because my favorite song on the album is Anti-Hero. That's my favorite one. So
Cool.
We're aligned.
Yeah. I think I know like every word to all the songs by now. So
it's a great album. She's unbelievable. She really is. It's like every one of her
Yeah.
albums is just 10 out of 10.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So is there a motto or quotation that you live by?
Oh, it's a great question. I don't know where I heard this. And I don't know where it's from, but for some reason it's been in my head, especially the last few years. I always think of the idea that I may not know what it's like to walk in your shoes or anyone else's shoes, but I can walk with you. And I really like that because,
Yeah.
I no one lives the same experiences. We all go through our own difficult times and our own moments that are really hard to get through. And I might never really understand anyone else's struggles, but I can walk beside them and I can try to be there for them along the journey.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So is there a show or a movie that you always watch when you just want to be comforted?
Ooh. Oh, that's a great question. That's a really great question. You know what? I for a long time, for a long time, I would say Lion King, but that's actually only because I would fall asleep to that movie for a long time. Because I watched the beginning and then I watched it all the way through recently and I was crying. And then I needed something to, because it's so touching.
Yeah.
And it's such a sad but joyful message at the same time. And it's just so emotional that I ended up having to find something else to watch after that. So I'd normally say Lion King. But I think right now, if I had to pick one, because it's around the Christmas time and the holiday season, and because it's the movie that got me into acting in the first place, I think I'd say Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie a lot, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yes, Psych is actually one of my comfort shows, and
It's a great show.
Yeah, and all the movies like those are on rotation all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I probably have to say Psych and Reboot, and so yeah.
With Psych, that was one of the sets I was on where I just thought these people are having so much fun. They had to work really hard. They had a lot of dialogue to say.
Yeah.
But it felt to me like it was a group of people that were just best friends having the time of their life. Like it felt to me like I was hanging out with a family more than I was a cast. And that was really cool. I remember thinking, I want people, when I'm on a show and I'm a regular on the show, I want people guest starring on the show to feel that way about the show that I'm on. And I hope that we've done that on the shows. I don't know. I hope we have. That's always been the goal. But I remember learning that actually from Psych, because I thought that they were just so kind and welcoming. And it just felt like you were suddenly a part of a family. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. I've interviewed a few people from the show, and
oh, cool.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're great, right?
What?
Oh, they're so great, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, my family and I just that was another show we watched together, and we just constantly rewatch it. So
That's great.
yeah. So is there sorry, I'm mixing up all my words right now.
Are you kidding me? You are an amazing interviewer. You never have to apologize. You're awesome at this.
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world.
It's true.
So is there one thing, if there's one thing you could tell your younger self when you were first starting in this business, what would it be?
If I could tell myself one thing, it would be to really celebrate when other people are winning, because it's, life is long and life has a lot of ups and downs, and it's I think there were times, especially earlier in my career, when I may have pretended to be happy because someone else got the role I was hoping for, but I might not have really been feeling that way. When now I do feel that way. And I think it's because I know that good moments are really important to celebrate. And it's important to take advantage of every single one of them and celebrate a person's success to the max, if you can. Because sometimes people don't get jobs for a few months or a few years after that. And it's important to celebrate every single one as if it's the last job they're ever going to have, because you just never know in this industry. And I think that's a really important thing for performers to do. And that's something I definitely try to practice now, and just take away any kind of jealousy and just be genuinely happy for people when they're succeeding, because I think it takes a community. Like, no one does this journey alone. And I've had a lot of friends in this industry for a long time, and we've all just supported each other. And I've noticed the friends that I care about the most are the ones that genuinely supported me every single win, even if they weren't winning at that point, which is the hardest to do. It's easy to support people when you're also doing well. When you're struggling, it's sometimes hard to be that supportive friend. But I wish I was more of that. And I think I tried to be, but I wish I was even more so.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero, and why?
That's a great question. A real life superhero. If I had to pick a real life superhero, it would be my teacher from high school, Mark Neufeld. He's determined to try to make the world a better place. And he does that by educating the next generation and empowering them and giving them the tools they need to make a difference, and in their community and also around the world as well. And I think the ability to educate others and the ability to empower the next generation is so important, that I would say Mark Neufeld is my real life superhero.
Oh, cool. I love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I just wish I could keep talking to you. I'm having so much fun. So
I feel the exact same way. It's been such a great conversation. And again, I'm a big fan of this show. So I can't wait to see new episodes.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, since you're a fan of Australia, can I teach you the handshake that we do on the show?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so here's how it goes. You high five,
Okay.
and you pound it, and you go, what up? Okay, let's do it together. I know there might be a bit of a delay, but let's see if we can do it.
Okay.
Count of three. 1, 2, 3. High five. Pound it. What up? Perfect. That's it.
Right on.
Thank you.
Calum,
thank you so much.
Thanks so much for your time today, Calum.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Maya. Thanks, Chris. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
You got it.
Thank
You too.
You too. And thank you for teaching me the handshake.
Of course.
All right. We'll see you later, Calum.
Thank you.
All right. All the best. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.